My name is Marg Simons, and I'm a member of the Ometepe Gulf Island Friendship Association. We usually refer to ourselves as OGIFA, and I have been a member since it started in 1988. Now in 1987, Ron Pither from Main Island and George Harris from Galiano Island went down to Ometepe Island, and the war was still on at that time, and this would be December of 1987. And they visited Ometepe, and they met a mayor of one of the communities, Altagracia. It's the biggest community on the island. And they asked him what their most pressing need was on the island. And he said, potable water. The infrastructure of the whole country had broken down. The American blockade had really taken a great toll on the country. So on Ometepe, the pipes were all broken, needed repairing. The generator wasn't operating. They had a little generator in the hospital, and that was the only one on the island. And they were really in quite a bad state. They realized the need of the water was the most important thing. And they came back to Canada and decided that they'd like to make it known. Well, Ron Pither doesn't waste any time. He phoned the ambassador to Canada from Nicaragua and asked him if he would like to come and meet the people in the Gulf Islands. Well, we had about one day to get it in the newspaper that this was happening. And he said, and we will need to have a place to have it. So could you organize that? We've got about 5 different groups in the island that were willing to help with this. They were all social justice groups or church groups. And so we got a little ad in the paper, and by the day of the event, the church basement was just packed. And so the ambassador was very, very surprised. He gave his talk, and we discovered that all sorts of other things were going on. Like there's a group of Americans in Bainbridge Island, and they're also twinned with this island, Ometepe. And so they were invited to come too. Ron really put himself right in the middle of things and said, we're having the ambassador, come on and meet him. And so the plan was then that the next day he would go to Main Island, where Ron is from, and the following day they would go on to Galiano Island, where George is from. And so that was his visit. And from then on, there were teas and there were auctions and luncheons, just all sorts of ways of trying to raise money. And then one very kind gentleman said he would like to give $10,000. So this was a lovely beginning. And we went to Save the Children Fund and asked them if they would be interested in taking part in this program, bringing water to Ometepe Island in Nicaragua, and they were very interested in helping with it. And so they said if we could raise a little more money, then come back to them, we could make an application and they would double the amount of money. So we raised $12,500 and they did the same. And then they went to CETA, and at that point CETA was into water projects, and all of us were really very excited about this project, and more people came to our meetings, and we were at that point ready to consider our next water project. And this next one was a little more complicated. It was a gravity feed system. So it took several years actually to complete this system. But what we found in this case was we had the people digging the ditches, and then the professionals would come in and lay the lines and do the work, but the communities were all, of course, the water was going to be for them, and they were really wanting to take part in it. So our friendship grew because of this. And many of us visited the island. And I guess that's the way we started our friendship.